Hello everyone and welcome back to Genie Crafts. In today's video, we are going to see how we can create this Minnie Mouse themed beautiful looking Sliceform pop-up lightbox. I got the template for this from Big Paper Art's website. I have pasted the link for the download in the video description. You can check it out later. So here is how the template is going to look like. The template is divided into three parts. First part is the rings for creating the pop-up Sliceform sphere. Then there are the layers inside that sphere, and then you will see a Sliceform template for the base of this entire structure. So this is the base of this entire structure, and you will find the printout for that also. Along with it, you will find the assembly diagram on how to assemble the different pieces together. For this lightbox, I am going to utilize this 300 GSM off-white watercolor paper, as usual the same that I utilize for all my light boxes. So the first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to paste this printout on top of this 300 GSM paper, and then we can start with the cutting process. For cutting purposes, I'm going to utilize OLFA paper cutting knife, which is my go-to knife whenever I have to cut thicker paper like 300 GSM paper. Now, while the cutting itself is fairly straightforward process, you have to take care of few things. All these rings numbered as 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 2C, etc. These are the rings that are going to form your outer shell of the lightbox, that is the Sliceform sphere, Sliceform hollow sphere actually. And some of the rings will not be complete, will be cut on the sides to create an opening for you to insert the layers for the lightbox from the front. When you are doing the cutting, you have to ensure that you are cutting these slots properly. If they are not cut properly, then you will not be able to interlock the rings later together. Also, for each of the rings, before you cut the inner and the outer circles, ensure that you have cut the slots first, then you cut out the inner circle, and then you finally cut out the outer circle. Once you have cut out the outer circle, use the tip of your blade to remove all those pieces from the slots to ensure that your ring is ready. In a similar fashion, you will have to prepare all the ring parts, which I will do off the camera. Now you can see that there are three layers, and you will have to cut out each of these three layers also. Unfortunately, it's not clearly mentioned in the template which all areas you need to cut, but it's fairly obvious from the way it is designed. You will be able to figure out what parts to cut out. So cut out those parts and ensure that your layer is also ready. In a similar fashion, cut out all the ring parts, all the layer parts, and all parts for your base of the lightbox also. So here you can see I have all the parts cut out. At the top left are the three layers which go inside the hollow sphere. Then at the bottom we have the complete rings, and at the top we have the partially cut rings which will create an opening for the light box. Also, you can see that I have arranged the rings in descending order of the size. So what you will see is that the biggest rings, there will be only two rings, but for the remaining sizes, there will be four rings each. So two will be complete rings and two will be partially cut rings, as they will create the opening for the light box. So on one of the rings, you will see that the slots are on the inside of the circle, and on the other ring you will see that the slots are on the outside of the circle. I have already explained this process of preparing a hollow Sliceform sphere in another one of my video. You can click the card at the top to view that video in detail. So basically, in the order of the rings, you need to actually start creating and interlocking these rings together. So if you align the slots properly, and if you have cut the slots properly, then you can interlock these rings together, and if they have been interlocked properly, they will flatten out into a 2D structure as soon as they have interlocked properly. If they have not interlocked properly, then you might find that your structure is not flattening out. Flattening of the structure is one of the key indicators that you are assembling your model correctly. Also from experience, I can say that whenever we are assembling a hollow slice form shape like a hollow sphere in the slice form, it is always beneficial if we first interlock those rings on which the slots are on the outside of the circle, and this is after you have assembled the two center rings. So there is no order for the two center rings. You just take the two biggest rings, assemble them on the center slots, and then you start picking up rings on which the slot markings are on the outer circle, and you first assemble them. Only after you have assembled these rings, then you go for the rings where the slot markings are on the inner side of the circle. It makes it much easier. Otherwise you will find it a lot more difficult if you assemble these rings later on instead of assembling them first. Now there is not much to say in this, it's just a matter of experience. If you work on Sliceform objects again and again, you will find it easy to assemble it, but if you have not worked on it that much, then this is a slightly difficult project to assemble. One more thing I would like to say, that the printout that I took was very small, which was a mistake. I took the printout on an A4 paper. My suggestion is that for this pop-up light box to look more beautiful and easy to assemble, it's best that if you take the printout on a slightly bigger paper like A3 or even A2 if you want. A2 will be too big, but you can definitely take on a A3 size paper. Then the assembly process will also be easier and the light box will also look much more substantial. You will see in later in the video that how many mistakes I made while assembling it, because I assembled it after a very long time. It's been quite some time since I've assembled any Sliceform object, but the process remains the same, and this is what I'm telling from experience. So you can follow your own process, but you will learn along the way what to do and what not to do. In case during the assembly process, if you feel that crease marks are coming or fold marks are coming on your ring, it is fairly common, because at times you will need to bend your rings to fit it inside the sphere and fit it inside the slot. So it's quite okay. At times you will need to stretch your paper a little bit so that it aligns with the slot. So all these things are common, do not worry about it. After you have made your Sliceform sphere, you can just flatten it out and put some weight on top of it so that it kind of flattens out properly again, and all the fold marks and the crease marks go away. So uh, don't think that your Sliceform sphere will not look good because of few fold marks. That is not the case. Even when I made, so many fold marks came on it, and this was mostly because the rings were so thin. Had I taken the printout on a larger paper, the fold marks would not have come that much also, and the paper would have sustained a little bit more stress than it did during the creation of this light box. And here we are done with the creation of the shell of the light box. As you can see that it has come out very beautiful, and now you can refer to the assembly diagram to find out the exact right points where you need to fix the layers. So always refer to the assembly diagram when you are fixing in the layers. So you will see that the layers also have two slots, one at the top and one at the bottom, and they fit diagonally on the intersection of the rings as mentioned by the specific point on the assembly diagram. And this is going to be slightly tricky. You will need to bend your layer slightly, push it inside your Sliceform sphere, and then try to fit the slots on the right places. It took me quite some time when I first made it. Also at that time also it took me some time, and today also it took me quite some time. So be careful. It's quite possible that when you're trying to fit it inside, you might fit the slots on the wrong intersection point. It happened with me, so it's quite possible that it will happen with you also. So find the exact intersection point where the slots need to fit and then put the layers correctly. It also happened that I put the layers in the wrong order. Then I had to take them out and put the layers back again, which was a very tedious task to do. And at one point I actually thought of just throwing it away. It was too much of an effort to create this light box, but I'm happy that I persisted because the final result was well worth all the effort put into this light box. And it's a very cute and very beautiful gift to give it to any of your friends or loved ones. Finally, I assembled the base in a similar manner like I did the hollow Sliceform sphere. The only difference was that the base was not hollow, so it was supposed to be easier than the sphere shell, but unfortunately the slot markings on the template were slightly weird. Normally you see all the slots on the one side and then the corresponding piece will have slots on the other side, but here it was in the alternate fashion, so at times I found it very difficult to arrange the pieces, and it was quite a task to get this done. Finally I couldn't actually assemble all the pieces together, so I just assembled 2 layers and then I left it at that. I will need to look into it later that what was the problem with the template, because I seriously was not able to assemble the pieces together even after multiple trials, so I just left it in between. But if you are able to do it, well and good, your base will be ready. So at this point I stopped kind of assembling the base because it was getting too tedious and too complex, and anyway I had developed the base enough to serve my purpose, and I tried putting the Sliceform sphere on top of it, whether it was setting properly or not. It was sitting properly, so there was no problem. And finally I just adjusted the ears as per the markings on the assembly diagram where they needed to go. I could honestly say that the template could have been made much easier because I have experience in making Sliceform templates. I will definitely try to release one of my templates very soon also. Finally, for the light, I got this surface panel light, circular in shape, from Amazon online, and it plugs in directly into the power source. It was white in color, but I wanted a yellow light effect, so I put a circular yellow tracing paper on top of it to make the light yellow, also to reduce the intensity of the light slightly. And I can put any color trace paper and create any kind of colored effects. The lights with multicolor are slightly costly, so that's why I purchased the white color light, and I put the base on top of it and the Sliceform sphere on top of it, and this is how it looked like. And finally you can also see in the photos that this Sliceform sphere has come out really pretty. So I hope you guys found this video on a interesting and different kind of light box helpful and useful. If you guys liked the video, then please do not forget to hit the like button and share this video with your friends. Also to subscribe to my channel for regular videos on paper arts, and I will see you guys very soon in the next video. Till then, stay safe, take care, and bye bye.